Sorry. Okay, thank you. The title is Collaborative Volcano Crisis Management during the before and after the case study on the 2000 Mount Usu eruption in Japan. This volcano erupted 4 times in 20th century. The first one in 1910 was predicted, and 15,000 people had evacuated before, 1 day before the eruption in 1910. And that was no scientists there. Who managed this crisis management in 1910 was a regional police chief. He had learned in police school in Tokyo from Professor Omori. Omori has educated in Italy and German at that time. My original background is seismology. This eruption changed my life completely. I went there 1 day before for helping volcanologists. There are a very limited number of volcanologists at that time, so we have to help them. Then next morning, we saw this Plinian eruption in short distance, only 2.5 kilometers, and the eruption column rose up to 12 kilometers. So if you see this slide, people in this area, people also including many tourists. This is a tourist hot spring resort area, and midsummer, and even on sunny Sunday morning. So the area was crowded. One previous night, there was a fire festival. So more than 50,000 people, tourists, gathered in this area. But from these 2 pictures, nobody cares about the risk. Nobody perceives the risk. That is only 36 years ago. But this situation changed afterwards because we realized this is actually very unrealistic photograph. It should be a film. It shouldn't be the real one. If we continue this kind of response, next will be a serious disaster. That is among volcanologists' idea. But it didn't work well because relation between scientists and regional or local government, local community depend on tourism is very bad. So we are almost no idea how to change this difficult situation. But thanks for many volcanologists abroad and many experiences abroad in the world, this area suddenly changed to prepare for the next one. And that was in time for the 2000. So that is the summary of my talk today. The first one is Plinian eruption, but next year is this kind of magmatic activity. Everybody asks me how many people killed. There's tourist city here and also here, volcano observatory inside here, and some observer was there at that time. Fortunately, nobody killed. But this also changes our idea. It's too risky. We have to change this kind of action. Then Professor Katsui, Yoshio Katsui, volcano geologist, he wrote first the map of surge. This surge doesn't mean anything left, nothing left there. So usually, if there is no evidence, geologists couldn't write the surge area. But he did because he knows the photograph before. This should occur, so it's imagination. But this is very important. People also have an imagination, and civil defense also has the idea what should be the next eruption or so. Looking at the history backward, in 1902, we have, oh, sorry, something wrong. Yeah, sorry. In 1902, we have eruption at Pre. At that time, of course, no monitoring, no safer actions, but it created birth of volcanology, start of monitoring, and observatory was established. During this effect, our volcano Usu in 1910, why 15,000 people had successfully evacuated one day before? That is because volcanologists knows this disaster and telling to the people, especially to one attending at a police school. He understood very well, and next time when something occurred at Usu, he didn't hesitate to take actions. After this eruption, 1910, Professor Omori became confident for the eruption forecasting. I believe the problem of prediction of great volcanic eruption is in some cases not very difficult, so directed towards the future course. During the same time, Thomas Jaeger, who established the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, no longer shall the cities be destroyed. So early our professors are very confident the idea or dream, very strong dream. However, it was very long time. It was not successful. Nearly the same time, in 1914, January, so this is just very nearly 100 years ago, Sakurajima erupted. And this is also one of the major eruptions in Japan in 20s. Many earthquakes preceded, many 5 events preceded to the eruption start, only one, mostly on one night. But thankfully, more than 15,000 people also evacuated during one night from the small island. There are no big ship, but during the night, a small ship returned back many times. Most of the people have safely evacuated until to the next morning. But during the previous day, the mayor of the village mayor asked to the meteorological office of Kagoshima, what is this earthquake is? And the meteorological agency answered, this is no relation to volcanic eruption of Sakurajima. So educated people believe that, but local people started evacuation quickly. Number of people killed, oh, something wrong, I'm sorry. I skipped that. Okay. Actually, the people who killed by this big eruption in 1914 is quite a few, directly by volcanic action. Most of the people killed in the island is who believe the formal statement. And at the time of eruption, they tried to swim in winter sea, and they were killed. So it's not direct action. And another half of the casualty is due to the big earthquake some distance away in Kagoshima area. We also experienced a second behavior change in the history. 1985, UNESCO made a guideline for volcanic hazard mitigation through hazard maps, monitoring, and effective communication. But on that year, after that, Nevado del Ruiz disaster actually occurred. It's a lack of communication, effective communications. Then I think Yabusei very seriously planning for the better correspondence to the society, and collaboration among officials, people, and scientists started. So this is a UNESCO's guideline. and Luis. At that time, Japan is very behind from the standard level in the world because every place they hesitated or refused to make hazard map because of tourist business. But one settlement, one location is different. That is Mount Tokachidake area in Hokkaido, because they suffered very similar snow melt lahar in 1926. 146 were killed. And they understand, we don't have hazard map. Luis had hazard map, but we didn't have. Then Professor Katsui helped them, and they made a hazard map. But this hazard map is completely different from academic or civil defense use. It is for the people. It is written in very understandable way and circulated each home. Probably this is the first in the world. I'm not sure. But anyhow, in the first time in Japan. So hazard map first ignored, then refused, especially after 1977, that big Plinian eruption. Then it turned to acceptance, behavior change occurred. Then 5 years later, eruption 2000, people safely could evacuate. He is a mayor of the city mayor, town mayor of Toyako, or hot spring resort area. He is the main person hesitating or refusing for a long time. But he changes his mind on this day, where it is 1994, August 8, in time to the 2000 eruption. And he opened a special forum for the people in the town, and Mayor Okamura addressed for the first time the preparedness for the coming eruption. It was 17 years had passed since the 1977 eruption, where next eruption will be, pyrogram flow is likely or not, how large it is, what kind, we must study for our safe town. Then we showed the Yabusei video was shown at the Toya Super Resort Town. So all the people, without any sound, they are looking, because it was shortly after Unzen disaster. They already know that the term of pyroclastic flow. They know that occurred in Usu in historical times, but they don't know what it was. But now, after Unzen, very clear image they have. Those people who hesitated at a hotel is first understood the meaning. And when the mayor asked by the journalist about the hazard map, at first, 2 years before 1992, he hesitated. If Japanese government decided to make a hazard map and bring it to the town, we will hide in our cabinet and we will not let to our people to see it. So this is our policy. But that broadcasting by radio all over Japan, those tourist business owners, hotel owners were hearing that and insisted to the mayor, "Mayor, it's wrong. We already know that." So that changed also to him. So clear imaging to have is a very important point. We also thank for many journalists. This is just one of them. This is Asahi Shimbun News. He had published so many articles in a journal during the behavior change period. And Usu report is 32 days. So total number is, where it is, 32 plus 123, 145, and 31. So every day, almost every week, we have article about active volcanoes. So this is a very good chance to educate people educate also for journalists, educate civil defense people as well. This Mr. Koike, journalist, is a man who brought the local mayor to my observatory at the first time. 15 years, we didn't meet each other. He even didn't know my name, but journalists brought him to my Usu Volcano Observatory. So this is the start of the communication. So 1995, the hazard map was prepared. Once mayor declared this resort town, if that is completely with red color, I never accept that, but it was in completely red. We used extensively this kind of picture to showing what a weak surge is. Surge or Pioneer flow is very difficult word for the people. But with this kind of correct image, they have correct image. So 1995, we have an international workshop. Thanks for many helping us, including Don Peterson and Dr. Sparto from Indonesia, and many other helping us. So in the crisis, in the disaster, people or tourists is a major people who are killed. So they have to know, and they have to act correctly. But in modern society, we have scientists, we have officials, we have mass media. Those basic triangles must support them. So that is the idea I learned from Don Peterson. 15 years ago, I visited Italy and Napoli for the first city on volcanoes. And this is school children playing the musical. Next year, we did in our town, in Toyako Hot Spring Resort, junior elementary school. And all those 2 hours long performance, only 4 months later, all of them, including teachers, had to evacuate because of 2000 eruption. Teacher explained to us, those kids were so excited because they already know one previous eruption, how their parents had a difficult time. So they wanted to help their parents. So 2000 eruption, just starting this small seismic crisis, building up to the midnight. At midnight, JMA issued first notice, lowest alert level. Then, when felt earthquake started, the level is upgraded to advisory stage. Then urgent highest alert level was 3 times issued, and then eruption started here. It was very fortunate, like 1910 eruption. We have 5 days, preceding days. If this is half day or 2 days, even 2 days, may be difficult, but very fortunately. So seismicity increasing with the time. Yeah, I'll put it. So explanation to the people, to journalists, and to disaster officials is very important. Our observatory closed to the mass media, but we opened open forum at the town office. So this is that one. At that time, extended time, if they have any question, we explained that. So this is 3 days before, and 2 days before, very fortunately, Hokkaido regional government has a special committee or mitigation, volcanic disaster mitigation committee. So that was held with the invited mayors. After this, mayor declared wide area total evacuation was issued. During that time, we are addressing to the journalists what we are talking about that. And one day before, when the summit dome was cracked, grand crack was observed. So that was communicated to the audience. So this is a Volcanic Disaster Mitigation Committee of Hokkaido Regional Government held 2 days before at mayors and professors from Tokyo University, coding committee members. So this is earthquake building up, then decreasing, but when decreasing, this is a time where the fissure appeared. So that is the reason the highest urgent, highest alert was issued. Those statements should be accurate, prompt, and helpful. It was actually very difficult because if you can wait a little more, then getting more accurate. But it's not always good. It must be quick as possible. So that balance is very, very difficult. But anyhow, both is very important factor. So to help them what to do. So 32 official information was issued from JMA before the first eruption. And total evaluation is no unnecessary highest volcanic alert. Sometimes, like Unzen, almost every day highest alert. And people don't care. Even disaster officials didn't care about that. That is not good. So always saturated so quickly. It's better to keep more options, more higher options. So this is a crack was found on at the summit. And that was explained to the audience with Professor Wee, Professor Katsui, and we are the members of coordinating committee member as well as Hokkaido Regional Government Volcano Advisory Committee member. So this is immediately before the eruption day. After the surveillance from the air, we explained eruption is imminent. Then, about 1.5 hours later, eruption started. Near to the fissure was found in the western flank, like this eruption. Eruption itself is very small. And somebody is very near to there with 4 TV staffs and retired volcanologist was there and explains what is a fissure and so on. But they all fortunately survived. So this is the local on-site local headquarters was immediately established at that city. So this is the one. There's the governor of Hokkaido and representative of the government, central government, and regional government, and professors, and government officials. So, and it was very fortunate. There was a video. Real-time video, just helicopter is above the eruption site. So eruptive vent and everything is clearly seen from the government local headquarters office. And we evaluated that and we expanded the evacuation zone. Then somebody brought a message, pyroclastic flow was reported. It was a police news source. But we know the area from the video, pyroclastic flow, this time is not occurred there. Then we explained to the governmental officials in the room. Then after that, they asked us to make statement, same statement about the new eruption and the possibility of pyroclastic flow to explain to the audience. So TV directly from this room to all the Japan, eruption occurred at Usu. So this is just looking to So this is Mr. Kanno's head, present head. Sapporo JMA, Hokkaido regional government, national government, and so on, and local officials. And using 1995 hazard map, the official is discussing how to widen the area of evacuation zone. And it was written on paper and using the media's camera to distribute this information quickly by the news. Some interesting experience we have, that is a JR train, evacuation train operation. JR personnel stationed also the headquarters. He was called and asked, are there any possibility to bring one train for massive evacuation for quickly? Actually, it was successful. So original train has 202 passengers heading to Sapporo city. Then those passengers was get out at the nearest station and headed to Mount Usu area. And 133 was, no, this is different. Yeah. The train capacity is 1,000, but already by the car, most of the people have evacuated. Only 133 had evacuated with this operation. So this is governor of Hokkaido regional government and head of governor central government, local headquarters chief. Eruption itself is very small, but it was very serious impact because the city is there. This is nursery school, many halls, and you can see the red and white curtain here. The waiting at the new kids starting from the next semester, starting to next day, April 1st is the starting time. And this probably. This is the actual video inside the headquarters. Professor Shigeo Aramaki, a volcano geologist, who is taking picture during the crisis. And he kept the video completely secret for 1 year. And 1 year after, he showed me. I was very surprised. So what they are doing and what kind of people gathered in the headquarters and what they are doing. He's a mayor, the self-defense personnel, and Hokkaido regional government, and so many people. And here is a scientist, Professor Wei, Professor Katsui, and me, and Professor Aramaki, Professor Kasahara. So many professors is available in such a small city because of precursory phenomena. This is nursery school. So this is a highway. And deformation is a special phenomenon to our volcano. It's a deistic lava dome forming eruption. And this is just 10 minutes before the first eruption. And this is a cookie factory covered by ash, then deformed and also bombed by this rockfall. And many faults. Now we have a trial here, and school children is examining the effect of the volcanic action. So this is after the aerial surveillance by helicopter. Scientists explain the situation almost every day, sometimes 3 times in a day, but this time maybe only once a day. And this is after coding committee was held. Coding committee usually held in Tokyo. So they have established a subcommittee, Usu subcommittee, and that was almost every day in the early days. After that meeting, we explained what we discussed and what kind of data available. All data is open to the public, to the media. So it is like a classroom. Sometimes we have no new phenomena. In that time, we just discussing, this is a good time to educate a journalist. So we make a classroom, actual classroom. And this is a discussion with the Director General of JMA and JMA staff from Tokyo, Professor Ida, the chairman of coding committee, Professor Kasahara, and so on. And this is also subcommittee meeting, April 15th. Luckily, we learned many things from the overseas countries. This is one of the examples. Chris brought us to Mayon volcano crisis during 1993. And this is media asked him about the crisis. And sometimes we went to the evacuation camp, and the young staff addressing to the people, directly communicating. And Chris Newhall also made his VUELCO local language to talking to the people. So people is very happy. American people talking in VUELCO languages. During that time, we imagined we should do in Japan. This kind of communication we are missing in the history. Then, fortunately, the mayor asked us for explanation to the evacuated people. At that time, more than 1,000 people had evacuated. So they gathered to this room, and we made explanation address. Some people asked us, how many days more we have to evacuate? When will be the next eruption? They are thinking about what the next one. Can we visiting for your observatory for questions? So this kind of questions they made. So more than 800 holes on the roof. Fortunately, everybody was evacuated before. And this is also the area. And also you can notice here, this is the lahar head, hot lahar. You can notice this line is active volcanic fault. And this is a former drinking facility, drinking water processing station. And this area was actually many apartments, many houses before 1977 eruption. But after 1977 eruption, they moved out. Fortunately, then the area was occupied by the Sabo Dam. Fortunately, nobody killed here, nobody losing anything at these areas. Please remember this small bridge. And along the fissure, the crater migrated toward to the right side up to here. And the hot mud flow down near to the school and apartment. And there is a bridge here, and bridge 1 is here, 2 is here. Bridge 1 was here, flow up to here, 2 was flow up to there. So this is a bridge. This is a library, and this is a 5-story building, but this is an effect of this bridge hit the corner of the 2nd floor of this apartment. This apartment, one of the 3, only this one was kept there, and together with this bridge and this one. This area all now became to the subdam. Inside the subdam, we have a trail, and school children is visiting and to learn what occurred in this area, like this. So recovery period. Fortunately, eruption is small, and it occurs not very, very crowded area. It's not so much settlement in this area, fortunately, but very near to the close area. But fortunately, these 2 artificial channels saved this area from the lahar. This is a highway, is a graben, and also this is another road going this way. Why people had evacuated safely at the 2000 eruption? What kind of sense of crisis? They know the possible scenario. They can imagine. So this is completely different from the 1977 eruption that saves themselves. Second point is why they could act jointly under the crisis. Then all concerned person participated joint action from the early stage under the mutual crisis awareness. They own the same crisis imaging. For example, when first earthquake started in the area, until the next morning, maybe hundreds of people already moving for the action independently, and they are contacting each other. So earliest quick movement helps them, and they realize that this kind of movement, action, is very helpful for them. In Japan, we have many serious difficulty also. This is a case in the same year, 2000, we have eruption of Miyakejima, the highest eruption column in August 18th. But no highest alert was issued. It was well monitored by eruption tremor as well as the air waves. But in spite of very good data, that doesn't help. So actually we need, but another action, the local Miyakejima weather station made in 1983 is a very good action. When precursory earthquake started only 2 hours before the eruption, very short notice, but they could do their best. The weather station first sent a staff for the seismometer station to find that is not artificial or the natural phenomena. Then weather station officially reported to town office, because weather station and town office is already very tight relation because the preceding evacuation drill. Then what town office did? Town office early warning information to town office. The office quickly arranged bus driver. It was a Sunday. So buses, 7 buses, sent to Ako settlement when eruption confirmed. And buses safely crossed the fissure that will open soon after, but before opening. So bus could arrive to Ako and help evacuating the people. The last bus left Ako town only 15 minutes before lava flow coming in and occupy the Ako settlement. So even small time arose, if you are aware you can make quickly. Not only the best monitoring data, not only the best information, but everything is important. But most of the historical volcanic disaster is caused by the communication failure. For tectonic earthquakes, it's different. Mostly Japanese damaging quake, which killed more than 10 people, is this red one that is inland shallow one. You have to protect yourself from the falling heavy items, or to build earthquake resistance buildings. And this blue one is occurred at the ocean and produces tsunami. So if we want to reduce the number of casualties by earthquake, either we have to prepare this inland earthquake, like Kobe earthquake, and or this Higashi Nihon tsunami awareness. Tsunami is much better that we can do that. So this is tsunami disaster, 2011. That killed 6% people at Taro area. The 83% was killed in 1896, and 1977, 20% killed, and then decreased to 6%. But still 239 was killed. We think we can do more because they trust so much this protection wall of the tsunami barriers, and also taking a short time action, not quickly. It not have much time. But most of the people, students, children in the area, is the highest rescue people, because they have a drill every year in school, and they moved quickly as when started big earthquake. They started to run to higher place, higher place, higher place. Sometimes they changed 3 times to much higher places. But some of the adults is not so wise yet. The first slide I showed you, many people in front of big erupting column. I imagine the same situation after 2011 earthquake. There are many films in oceanside city. People is just doing the same way as usual. Only sometimes some people is running or bringing some children, but most people is just concerned, just following TV to pick up, or just talking to each other in front of their house, just the same. How natural disaster is similar each other. At that time, we have very good data. This is a tsunami record. A tsunami record shows like this way, and coming from this side, with this speed, and getting bigger and bigger. Here is about 8 to 9 meters, or highest one is 50 meters high. We have plenty of data before. If tsunami occurred in this deeper part, that tsunami will arrive to the coast maybe 3 times to 5 times bigger. That means at this time, you see, 255, probably we can issue eruption, tsunami will be sometimes 10 meters. Then at this time, sometimes 15 to 20 meters. Actually, you have data. And all those data went to the JMA office, main office, tsunami surveillance room. But unfortunately, no radio, nothing, no news reached to the people that they needed. Why so many people were killed by tsunami? Inaccurate evaluation of tsunami potential, inaccurate warning information, repeated estimated alert, convince of past experiences, too much trust on tsunami protection wall, lack of basic science of tsunami. So disaster mitigation education is very important because kids grown up adults in 10 years, another 10 years, they became to parents. Through continuous tsunami education at school, safe culture will be gradually established in the community by Katada. This is also same any part of natural disaster. So I don't go more, okay. Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much for the outstanding and insightful views into the Japanese disaster issues. I think there's a bit of time for some quick questions. Others we will reserve for the round table discussion. So are there any pressing questions now? I'll have a quick one then, a quick question. Because I noted down that you said that the information on volcanic hazard needs to be accurate, prompt, and helpful. Okay. So in that respect, how well did you perform in the year 2000 then, with the eruption?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. The most important point is communicating in the local headquarters with sufficient time. And we have never approached each journalist yet. So the information is shared totally equally and plenty of time to have communicate each other. So we keep, and also government keep us to have such opportunity. That was the best, because official statement states only how many number of earthquake is recorded, nothing else. Nor any word about eruption except only one of 32. That one is because discussion was made by coordinating committee. So JMA is safely issued the statement about the eruption possible. But it itself, no, or usually no comment, just factual statement. Of course, this situation completely changed after 2000. Before 2000, JMA is very hesitating to contribute to disaster management. Just factual statement is their basic, lowest level basic information release. But after 2000, they changed as shown the previous talk by Kanno-san. So Japan is now changing. But it is good some place, some point, but it also has some serious problem because good linkage to the academic society. So that is the one.
ありがとうございました。